All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today, we're going to explore the Yamaha Genos2 keyboard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, one of our listeners actually reached out and asked us to take a close look at the owner's manual. And I have to say, even though I'm not a musician myself, I'm pretty excited to see what this instrument can do.
Yeah.
So where should we begin?
Well, most people, when they get a new gadget or instrument, they kind of just skip right past the warnings and stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But in the case of the Genos2, Yamaha really makes you pay attention to the precautions section.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not just the usual, don't spill water on it kind of warnings.
Oh, right.
They really go in depth about electrical safety, fire hazards.
Oh, wow.
Even how to properly dispose of the Genos2 when the time comes.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like they're saying, hey, this isn't just some toy,
I see.
This is a serious piece of technology. Treat it with respect.
I like that.
Yeah.
So the Genos2 demands respect, but I'm sure it also delivers a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about its capabilities?
The sheer range of what it can do. Yamaha calls it a music production powerhouse, and honestly, that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, I was just glancing through the major functions section.
Yeah.
It's a bit overwhelming. Styles, voices, keyboard parts, multipaths, songs. It seems like endless possibilities.
It really is.
So walk me through it.
All right, so let's say our listener is a songwriter.
Okay.
They could use the Genos2's style feature to create backing tracks in any genre they can imagine.
Wow.
From jazz to pop to Latin, anything.
That's really cool.
Then they can layer on different voices.
What are voices?
So the voices are essentially the instrument sounds.
Oh, I see.
And they're incredibly realistic.
Right.
And then with the multipads, they can trigger pre-recorded phrases or loops, add another layer to the music.
It's like having a band right there in the keyboard.
It's like a virtual band at your fingertips.
I love it.
They can even record their entire performance using the Genos2's built-in recorder.
Oh, wow.
Either in MIDI or audio format.
So it's kind of like a MIDI recording studio in itself.
Absolutely. And then with the registration memory function, they can save their favorite combinations of sounds and settings.
So you don't have to redo it every time.
Exactly. It's for instant recall.
That's super convenient.
Especially for live performers.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. No more messing around with knobs between songs.
Yeah.
You just load up your saved settings and you're ready to go.
Exactly. And speaking of making things easier, there's also a playlist function. You can organize your songs and settings into set lists.
That's great for organization.
Right. It's like having a personalized digital stage manager.
Nice. Okay, this is all really impressive.
Yeah.
But there's this one thing I keep seeing mentioned that I'm not quite getting. AEM technology.
Yes. AEM.
What is that all about?
It stands for Articulation Element Modeling. And it's basically the secret sauce behind the Genos2's incredibly realistic sound.
Okay, so how does that work?
Well, imagine you're listening to a guitarist playing live.
Sure.
You can hear all those little subtle nuances in their performance, right?
Yeah, definitely.
The way they pluck the strings, the slides, the vibrato.
Yeah.
Those little details really make the music come to life.
Absolutely.
Well, AEM technology basically captures those nuances and recreates them digitally. So when you play a guitar voice on the Genos2, it's not just a static sample, it responds to your playing style, your touch.
So it's kind of like the Genos2 is understanding how a real musician would play the instrument.
That's a great way to put it.
Wow.
And that's what makes it sound so convincing.
Yeah.
It's not just mimicking the sound, it's capturing the soul of the instrument.
I'm starting to see why this is such a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not just about sounding good, it's about feeling real.
Exactly, about being expressive.
All right, let's get into some specifics then. What are some features that you think would get a beginner really excited about exploring this instrument?
Well, I think the organ flute's voice would be a great starting point.
Okay.
Imagine being able to recreate the sound of a classic Hammond organ.
Oh, wow.
Complete with those drawbar settings, just like on the real thing.
That warm vintage sound?
Exactly.
That's cool.
And then for those who really want to push the boundaries of expression,
yes,
there are the super articulation voices.
Oh, right. I saw those mentioned.
These allow for incredibly realistic techniques like guitar slides, trumpet falls, even woodwind trills.
Really?
It's all based on how you play the keys.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's like the Genos2 can anticipate your next move.
Right.
Adding in those subtle details that would normally take years to master.
Okay, this is mind-blowing. So we've got these realistic instruments. What about vocals?
Yes, the Genos2 has something for vocalists as well.
I saw mention of vocal harmony and a synth vocoder.
Right.
What are those all about?
Well, with vocal harmony, you can sing along with harmonies generated by the Genos2.
So it's like having your own backup singers.
Exactly. Perfect for karaoke night.
That does sound fun.
Now, the synth vocoder is where things get a little more experimental.
Interesting.
You can transform your voice into robotic sounds, choir-like textures.
So that Daft Punk kind of robot voice.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Or you can create those ethereal vocals you hear in film scores.
Oh, wow. So many possibilities.
It really opens up a world of creativity for vocalists and producers.
It seems like the Genos2 has something for everyone.
Absolutely.
No matter what kind of music you're into.
Yeah.
But we've only scratched the surface here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's a whole world of features and technology in this keyboard.
We've got a lot more to explore.
A lot more to explore, that's for sure. Welcome back to our deep dive into the Yamaha Genos2.
Yeah.
So much to explore with this keyboard. It's really amazing.
It really is.
We talked about AEM technology before the break, but I'd love to dig a little deeper into that. How does it actually work? It seems like magic.
Well, it's not magic.
Yeah.
But it does feel that way sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You know, remember how we talked about those subtle details that, say, a guitarist might add to their playing?
Yeah.
The way they hit a string, the vibrato, the slides.
Wow.
All those things contribute to the character of their sound.
Right. Those little nuances make it feel so real.
Exactly. And that's what AEM does.
Hi.
It captures those nuances and it replicates them digitally. So instead of just having a static sample of a trumpet note, for example, the Genos2 actually knows how to make that note come alive with different articulations.
So it's like the Genos2 is analyzing how a real musician would play.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
It analyzes how real instruments are played. And it breaks the sound down into these tiny building blocks called articulation elements.
Articulation elements.
Yeah, and depending on how you play the keys, how hard you press, how long you hold a note, even how you transition between notes.
Right.
The Genos2 uses those elements to recreate the sound.
So if I'm playing a guitar riff on the Genos2, it would sound different depending on if I'm strumming gently versus, really digging in.
That's right.
That's amazing.
And it goes beyond just volume,
Okay.
AEM takes into account things like the subtle changes in timbre,
right,
how the sound decays, even the little noises that happen when you release a key or change fingering.
Oh, wow.
It's about capturing the entire performance.
So it's not just the notes, it's like the whole feel of the music.
That's a great way to put it. It's like the Genos2 is reading your mind.
It does kind of feel that way.
Translating your intentions into sound.
This AEM is really impressive.
Yeah, it really sets it apart from other keyboards that just rely on samples.
So we've got an AEM for realistic instrument sounds.
Right.
The manual also mentions something called VCM technology.
Ah, yes. VCM. What is that all about?
It stands for Virtual Circuitry Modeling. Okay.
And it's Yamaha's way of bringing the warmth and character of classic analog effects.
Analog effects.
Yeah, like those old school pedals and rack units.
Right, the ones that guitarists and producers used to love.
Exactly. Think vintage compressors, equalizers, tape delays.
Yeah.
Even those legendary rotary speaker cabinets.
Oh, wow.
The ones that gave those classic organs their swirling sound.
Yeah, you can't really replicate that with digital stuff, can you?
That's the idea behind VCM.
Yeah.
Yamaha has basically modeled the circuitry of those classic analog devices down to the component level.
Wow. So when you use a VCM effect on the Genos2, it's not just a digital imitation, it's like the real deal.
It's a faithful recreation of the original analog circuit.
So it's like having a collection of vintage gear built into the keyboard.
That's the idea.
It sounds like a lot of work.
It is, but it's worth it. Those analog circuits have a certain magic.
I've heard that.
They have a way of responding to sound that's just, unique. And Yamaha has really captured that magic with VCM.
So the Genos2 uses this VCM technology for its built-in effects.
That's right. You'll find it throughout the Genos2 sound engine.
Okay.
From subtle EQ boosts to full-blown overdrive and distortion.
Wow.
They've even partnered with Steinberg to include some of their acclaimed effects as well.
So we've got AEM for realistic instruments, VCM for those authentic analog effects.
Yep.
It seems like this keyboard has it all. But what about the creative process itself? What kind of tools does the Genos2 offer for songwriters and producers?
Well, for starters, there are two main types of recording available. Quick recording and multi-recording.
What's the difference?
Quick recording is, quick. Perfect for when you just want to capture an idea.
So if I just came up with a melody and I want to get it down quickly.
Exactly. Just hit record and you're good to go.
So it's all about capturing those spontaneous moments.
Absolutely.
Okay, and multi-recording.
That's where you can really delve into the art of production.
Okay.
You can record separate tracks, layer different instruments.
So I could record a drum track, then a bass line, and then add keyboards on top.
Exactly. It's like having a mini recording studio right there in the Genos2.
So it's like the difference between a live performance and a studio production.
That's a great analogy.
Okay, cool. And you can record both MIDI and audio, right?
Yeah, that's the advantage of each.
Well, MIDI recording captures your performance as data, like digital sheet music. So you can edit the notes, change instruments, even quantize the timing. You have a lot of flexibility.
So it's more for refining things after you've recorded.
Exactly.
What about audio recording?
Audio recording captures the actual sound.
Okay.
So it's great for vocals, or if you want to capture the exact nuances of your playing without any further editing.
So many choices. It's almost overwhelming.
I know. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah. The Genos2 is incredibly powerful.
It is, but it's designed to be user-friendly. Okay, good.
Even with all these advanced capabilities.
And how does it do that?
Well, one of the key ways is through its registration, memory, and playlist features.
Right. We talked about those earlier.
Yeah.
But I'm still a little fuzzy on how they work and why they're so important.
All right, so think of a registration memory as a snapshot of your current setup on the Genos2.
Okay.
It saves everything. The sounds you're using, the effect settings, the tempo, the volume balance.
So if I find a combo I really like, I can save it and recall it instantly.
Exactly. And you can create as many as you need.
Okay, that's useful.
So let's say you're working on a song that has several different sections. You could create a separate registration memory for each section.
That's really smart.
So you can seamlessly transition between them.
Wow, no more knob twiddling.
Exactly, and that's where the playlist feature comes in.
Okay.
You can organize those registration memories into a set list, a playlist, to manage your entire performance.
So if I'm playing a gig, I could create a playlist for the evening, with each song having its own registration memory.
That's right. And you can link them to specific songs or styles.
Wow, so if I select the song from my playlist, it automatically loads the corresponding registration memory.
You got it.
It's like having my own sound engineer.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, this is all making a lot more sense now.
Good.
It's not just about having tons of features. It's about having a system that helps you manage them.
Makes the creative process smoother.
Exactly. Okay, so we've covered the sound engine, recording capabilities. What else is there to explore with the Genos2?
Well, there's a whole other realm to uncover, the Genos2's connectivity and integration with the wider world of music technology.
Oh, right. We haven't talked about that yet.
We'll jump into that next.
Welcome back. We're wrapping up our deep dive into the Yamaha Genos2.
Yeah.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has.
This keyboard is truly impressive.
You know, one of the things that strikes me is how Yamaha has really managed to blend the traditional world of instruments with this cutting-edge digital technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of technology, you mentioned the Genos2's connectivity. We haven't really touched on that yet. What kind of connections are we talking about here?
Well, first off, the Genos2 can connect to your computer via USB.
Oh, okay.
Which opens up a whole world of possibilities.
Like what?
You can use it as a MIDI controller for music production software. You can record your performances directly into your computer, even transfer files back and forth.
So it's not just a standalone keyboard.
No, not at all.
It integrates with your whole setup.
Exactly. It becomes a real hub for your creative workflow.
That's cool. And it doesn't stop there.
It doesn't stop there.
The Genos2 can also connect to smart devices.
Yes. Smartphones and tablets.
Wait, so I could control the Genos2 from my phone?
That's right.
What would that even look like?
There's a dedicated app. Oh, cool.
You can browse sounds, select styles, adjust settings. Wow. Even create playlists, all wirelessly.
That sounds incredibly convenient.
It is, especially for live performances.
Well, yeah, I can imagine no more running back and forth to adjust things.
Exactly. And you can even use your smart device as a remote control.
Oh, really?
For the recording functions.
Interesting.
Start a recording on your phone while you're standing across the room.
That's next level. It really blurs the line between a traditional instrument and a high-tech tool.
It really does. And speaking of pushing boundaries, remember those expansion packs we talked about?
Yeah, those sounded interesting.
They add a whole other dimension to what the Genos2 can do.
It's like downloadable content for your keyboard, right?
That's a good way to put it. Yamaha releases these expansion packs that add new sounds, styles, even voices.
Oh,
so you can really customize your instrument.
So if I wanted to get into Latin music, for example, I could download an expansion pack with all those rhythms and instruments Exactly. Or if you're a fan of vintage synths.
Right.
There are packs for that too.
So many possibilities.
Possibilities are endless.
It's like a constantly evolving instrument.
And that's one of the things I find so exciting about it.
Yeah.
It's not static. It can grow with you.
Right. It adapts to your musical journey.
Exactly. And that kind of ties into something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
The global reach of the Genos2.
Oh, right.
The manual mentioned Yamaha's worldwide presence.
Yeah.
And that it's been translated into so many languages.
It really is an instrument for everyone.
It speaks to the universal language of music, right?
Yeah, it transcends geographical boundaries.
Connecting people through this shared passion for music.
It's inspiring, you know?
It makes you wonder how instruments like this will shape the future of music.
Right. Will we see more collaboration across borders?
Yeah. Will this accessibility lead to even more creativity?
Great questions. I guess we'll have to see how it all unfolds.
That's the beauty of exploring something like the Genos2. It opens up more possibilities than it defines.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive.
We have.
And I have to say, I'm thoroughly impressed with the Genos2.
As am I.
It's so much more than just a keyboard.
It's a gateway to a world of musical possibilities.
It really is. And for our listener out there,
yes,
we hope this deep dive has inspired you to explore the Genos2 further.
Dive into that manual, experiment with the features.
As importantly, have fun.
Let the Genos2 be your guide on your musical journey.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next deep dive.